Hi everybody, welcome to our channel.
Well, we didn't expect to have to do this, but we are having a part 2 for our lovely Sweet Sue walking Alice doll. And in this video, we're going to show how I repair her wig from top to bottom. Absolutely. We did it.
We did it, and she did the repairing, but I had to do the...
Oh, you helped repair it. I did most of the sewing, but
I had to hold the light so that you...
We don't have to say all that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was hard.
It was. But we don't want a really long intro. So we just want to say welcome to everybody that's new. Welcome if you came back to see part 2. Thank you for coming. And
the best is yet to be.
Yes. And I hope you enjoyed this part. And we just ought to get to it. Oh,
really?
Yeah, I think we should. Don't you?
Why?
Itty bitty.
Do you want this one too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mine will give me a kiss.
Mine won't.
Edie, can I have a kiss?
He's
Grayson, can I have a kiss? I think we ought to go to the video. This is our new girl that we're going to be doing a restoration on. She is a American character, Sweet Sue Walker.
She's a walker.
And she's Alice. Alice in Wonderland. Little girl needs her wig resewn. Well, now we are going to reattach her wig, because it's a little bit more than just sewing some of her hair back on.
I think they saw that when I took apart the...
Yeah. Yep, and what I'm going to use, I know you guys have seen us resew a wig before on a Tony doll, but this is an American character, Sweet Sue Alice doll. So what I'm going to use for the thread is this dual duty heavy Coates and Clark thread. Now the reason I'm using this is because I only need one thread. And it seems to me that I think that's what they use, is one thread.
One thread.
My problem is that I have looked and looked and looked and looked for the correct color to match the stitching on these dolls. And no matter what I do, it just, the color that I can get does not match. But on this particular doll,
it does.
This really does match her actual hair. So it might not look to be completely authentic, but it's going to look nice.
Yes, there's nothing else we can do about that, because when she came, all this was coming. Oh, there it is. Look. Do you see all her little threads, her original threads?
Right. And I am about to sew all those down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down this layer first.
Are you going to wet it?
And then I've got to see what's going, I got to see what's going on back here. That might need to be sewn down. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to sew it down once, and then I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to flip it back over, sew it down again. So first I have to sew this down so that I have something to sew to. And I'm going to do it just like I have before. As you can see, here are a couple of the stitches, the original stitches. I'm going to go underneath them.
If nothing else, they're a guide.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I use the original stitches as a guide. And I'm going to go back underneath. Then I'm going to come up past where I just was. And that is essentially my back stitch. So I'm just going to keep...
I don't know how she does this. I've tried.
I'm just going to keep doing this.
She's really good at it.
I'm going to keep going right across until it's completely sewn down. Okay, so I have sewn it all the way up to here. Then I realized
we got a problem.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem. She has this, you can't tell very well because I have it the light on it, but she has this little curly cue of hair and it is not attached. So it needs to be sewn from here all the way up to here. Then I'm going to deal with this bit of hair that is going to be her her part. And I didn't realize that all of this hair that was down here was part of her part. But after doing some investigating, it is. So that's what I'm going to do.
And
I'm
this
going
doll,
to.
can I say this?
Of course.
This doll came in a box.
Oh yeah, she was perfect in the box. But you know, like we've said before,
Thread doesn't is it.
Yeah, it's gonna break.
It's gonna
Eventually, it's gonna break.
Eventually, whether you keep it's been in a box for 70 years or not, it's thread rots.
It does. So here we go. I've stitched it down right here, and I'm going to leave this tail. I'm going to probably use this thread again when I get to this end. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this. I'm going to very gently flip it over and sew it down before I put in my final
double stitch.
Yeah.
Which pretty much shows this.
Yeah. Here is what it will look like when we're done. Okay. So, but flipping it over is not going to be fun. And people have said, well, you should tell everybody how long all these takes. Well, yes, this does take quite a bit of time, and finesse. But as far as I'm concerned, it is worth it to save this beautiful wig.
A absolutely fantastic, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous wig, and it is worth every single
second.
All right, so here we go. As you can see here.
Whoa, I'm sorry, I moved too quick. You can tell when I'm filming. My apologies.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but right here is where we have some original stitches. And I am going to attempt to take all of this, flip it over like this, and sew it down. And hopefully I can distinguish between.
It takes a lot of separating of the hair to find how it was originally done.
And
doesn't matter if it's saran, mohair, what doesn't matter. It all kind of works in the same way.
Yeah.
Or nylon, whichever. Or human.
Mm-hmm.
Which we do have a couple of human hair dolls coming up.
Yep.
Which are kind of...
This is kind of interesting.
It's very interesting.
Because this seems to be a part of it, but not a part of it.
Yeah. It gets deceiving. So, and you just gently have to release the part that is decided to mesh.
I had to stop for a second because I had to untangle a couple of things. And I got to be very careful because
you don't want to take hair from
I
where
don't
it doesn't
want
belong.
hair to, and we have just found out that down here it is not attached where it's supposed to be.
No, we found more problems.
So I have to very gently smooth this out without tugging. Otherwise, it's all going to come apart.
Yes, this wig is really on the verge of just dismantling itself.
Okay. Well, it took me a few minutes, but I think I have everybody sorted. But first of all, down here, you can see that there is a line. I got to get back further. There is a line of stitching right here.
That is broken.
And it is broken. And so this is attached to this hair right here.
Right.
And if I didn't clip it down here, I'm going to re-sew it later. But if I hadn't clipped it, all of my tugging up here to try to get things straight, I would have pulled the hair right off her head.
That's right.
So now get back to this. So what we're doing is this piece is still sewn in, which is wonderful because I have a place to go from. And I had to take all of this hair that was flipped over and I had to put it back this direction. And I'm going to sew. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce this. Then I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to sew it all the way back to here. Then, once I know everybody's secure, and I actually have some more back here that has to be secured, then I will start putting in that double stitch. So I know that it's bright, but if I take off the light, then you can't see it very well. But can you see that I am stitching the hair down? And I'm going to come all the way to here. And that is being stitched to what I stitched underneath. I'm stitching this to what I stitched to underneath. If I hadn't stitched that hair down underneath, I wouldn't have anything to stitch this to. Nothing. If that makes any sense. I just thought I would show you that when I anchored these stitches right here, they broke.
They did.
So it's a very good thing that I stitched over them because they would have broke. It
would have ended up breaking
eventually. So now they are going to be firmly in, and I'm going to continue to here, and then I'm going to flip everything over. Okay. I think I dropped my comb. Evie, can you get it for me? Evie, gotta bring it up here, sweetheart. Oh, she came up the other direction. Here. Oh, well, thank you, sweetheart. She is definitely a helper. You gonna get your treat bag? Get your treat bag. Come on. That's right. Bring your treat bag. That's right. Good girl. And there she goes. She gets her treat. It's a freeze-dried strawberry. Well, she's all sewn down. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to comb it out so that it's nice and smooth. And we're going to put in...
That's what that was for.
Yeah, that's what the comb's for. And I'm going to get it ready to start sewing in her
double stitch.
Yep. So here's a new thing I'm going to try to get my... I want to get this a very straight,
even.
Yes, but it is the part that is going to get the double stitch, and I'm having a difficult time getting that roll. So she had the great idea of putting something in there. She wanted to use paper, but
because I wanted it to be thin, and she thought of the little skewer.
Figured that a skewer. See, I'm going to stick my skewer in there, and it's going to keep my little roll.
I was going to use paper as a straight edge.
Then I'm going to take my clip, and I have...
Isn't that pretty?
I have what I need. And it's going to make sure that it's going to go all the way across nice and evenly.
And cover up the stitches underneath.
Yep. I got to make sure all of those stitches are covered. So yes, I'm going to keep it nice and rolled.
That's what you learn those things from a carpenter.
And I'm going to stick, well, now that I have it nice and rolled, I don't need this anymore. And I'm just going to make sure that all of...
Sorry about that, guys. It's just me. Bad filming.
She's learning. Anyway.
When I'm paying attention, do you understand? My mind's 1,000 miles a minute. And
so I am going to clip this one too. And there you have it. I have
really looks
my roll that I can start stitching down, and I want to make sure that I get rid of all these extra stitches
that held down the other side of the head.
You don't want to see those.
No.
Well, there we go. She has got her new part. She needed a little bit done in the back, this little piece right here, but this will be covered up by her hair. Now, all she has... Would you hold her, sweetheart?
I'm holding. Right there.
Okay. Now all she needs is this line right here. Can you see that?
I'm trying to help. Right there it goes.
Okay, so this is a
from
line.
there.
This is a line of stitching that has broken.
You see?
And that is the only other line of stitching that she has on her head.
It goes up and it goes.
Your hands are in the way, sweetie.
I'm sorry. And it goes right here.
Right.
Over and down. And that's
so I'm going to.
Oh my gosh, it's a double stitch, Shantae.
Yeah, I'm going to reinforce it.
Yes.
And then we won't have any more
and
problems.
There's your piece over here.
And then she can get her hair picked out.
One other problem.
What?
Her wig is coming off.
Yes, her wig is coming off, so it will have to be re-glued. Yes, it's going to have to be re-glued.
But first, I'm going to wash it.
You're going to see the doll, sweetie.
First, I'm going to wash it and do all the things I do to Saran hair.
So, I'm not going to show that. We're just going to, I'm going to secure the rest of her stitching, and then we're going to move on. I think she kind of lost her wig.
Oh, we found it.
Yep, we found it. What happened was we were going to wash her hair on her head, but if you notice all the glue that was on her head, it's really old, and it kind of got dry
and
brittle, and I could feel it as I was sewing.
See this?
And I thought maybe it would stay on long enough.
We hoped
to get it washed, and then we could re-glue it, but nope.
No, actually, her bangs were sewn on. Do you see that?
The word you want to hear there is were. I have a tiny bit more sewing to do.
Do you see? You see these stitches? Do you see these stitches? See, it just pulled away from the actual.
Which I'm going to take care of. But that's neither here nor there. All we're going to do is show you that she's still going to get her hair washed.
And it's just 2 sections.
Which is very different from the Ideal Dolls, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's all sewn, and it is her wig is going to stay intact. She's just going to get it washed, and we're just going to do that with a little bit of gentle shampoo. And that's it. We're actually not going to put
I'm not going to put any
softener on it.
Because I'm going to use
Lanolin.
Yeah. That's the word.
Yep. So we're just going to get it washed. Well, she's all rinsed, and you want to make sure when you wash her a wig like this that you're very, very gentle. And that you don't put a lot of soap on, because that soap has to come off.
And that would be a lot more rinsing.
Right. So now that she's got it all rinsed, we're going to go... actually, it's got to dry.
Actually, I got to get a little towel and towel dry it.
So she's going to towel dry it, and she's going to let it completely dry before she re-glues it. Well, she's finally dry, and it took a while.
Yes.
So if you do this technique, be patient for the wig and the
let's see if we can show,
and the wig cap to dry. Now, remember I said I was going to sew her bangs back on? Well, it was the actual wig cap that came loose. The hair was still sewn to the wig cap. Well, I had to try and repair the wig cap with some thread, and then guess what? All of those lovely little stitches decided to break.
They did.
So I had to completely re-sew every stitch. I think I have re-sewn every single stitch
in the entire
wig. But guess what? It's not going to come apart again.
No. And what I'm going to do is I'm showing you where the wig cap has
problems. But actually, up on the top, we're not going to cover that, because that's where you can open up her hair.
Right here is where you open up your hair, and I will just make a
so
little
that you can take the head off.
I'll make a little slit in it. So
what she's going to do? She's going to take some gauze.
What I'm going to do is this,
and she's going to repair just those little pieces of the wig cap that are just they're.
What I'm going to do is make it in this, because it wants to just
collapse in
on itself. So, but it has to be able to fit her head. And so I'm going to take some Fabric Fusion.
Let's show everybody what it looks like.
Fabric Fusion.
Yep.
And I'm going to...
This is different than what she's going to use to glue the wig back on.
Oh, yes.
Because what she is doing is she is...
I guess I got to do it on my hand because you're kind of in my way.
Well, that's where the camera goes.
That's right. Nothing I can do about it. So I'm putting a very even...
Yes, but what I wanted to explain is because this has to do with fabric going essentially to fabric.
Right.
That's why she's using Fabric Fusion and not the other kind of
that's
glue.
not what I'm going to glue her wig cap on with. I'm trying to repair the wig cap.
So here we go.
Okay.
It's got a little layer.
A thin little layer. And I'm going to put it inside her wig cap. And I'm going to be spreading the wig cap to fit her head. So you can see I put that in there, and I can put a bag of rice in there. Yep.
The reason she's using a bag of rice is that she doesn't
I want to maintain the doll's head shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
that will dry, and once it's dry, then we are going to be ready to put her hair back on.
But can I mention?
Yeah.
Okay, so she still had an odor.
A little bit.
And so I smelled her head and I said, well, her hair smells great. And I smelled her head and it still had that smell. So
it's just like an attic smell.
Yeah, so my assumption was that the glue absorbed the odor. So I got a cloth and a little bit of alcohol and I just rubbed it around here.
Just on the glue.
On the glue. All gone. It doesn't smell like alcohol and it doesn't have an odor anymore.
Nope. And then to help her insides.
And so because this doll has that coil that goes from here to here and there is a disc here, I can't, like I can in some walkers, go from here down and get to the
do a little bit of cleaning on the inside.
So,
but she does have a little bit of a opening right there at that leg.
Well, they're both legs actually, see?
Yeah, okay. So
what I did was I took some of these long Q-tips and I soaked them in alcohol. You could see that this one has a little, I'm trying to get it. This one has a little rust on it. And that would be the rest of the bar that comes from here to here.
Yep.
And so I'm in there going through here and I'm trying to, because she still had a little odor inside of her and I couldn't get to that odor because I can't get inside the doll.
Right.
But I tried this and guess what?
Well, that's the best we can do for her.
Yeah, and she doesn't have no odor.
Well, it's dry enough, and now we're going to put her hair back on.
And so we're going to put, go ahead. Here's your.
Yep. Okay, so this is Instagrip from Doll's Part. And we get a lot of really great things from Doll's Part for restoring our dolls. They have got so many different things. Besides, they have wigs for replacement. If you couldn't,
oh yeah, well we've
done that. Yes. We've done that with, and they have all these other great things for
cleaning and
yeah, some of their cleaning stuff. I think we're going to try.
Yeah, we absolutely
in the future.
We absolutely are.
But yeah, you can get this at Doll's Part, and there'll be a link in the description.
Yeah, there's a number right there if you can see it.
Yep. Okay, so
we're going to use Sure Grip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around her head, and I'm going to avoid this area. I cut a hole.
Right. Okay. So the area she's going to avoid is right there.
It looks like it's rusty, but it's not.
And that is how if in the future... You
bend these up and bend this up and her head comes off.
Right. And in the future, if you needed to maybe help her eyes or something like that, that's how her head comes off. And you're only going to put it where the glue is right now, correct?
Right. And if I need to do any other gluing, because her wig fits a little different than
it did before.
Yes, because I had to clean off.
Right.
It was on her ears.
Okay,
It was
but we're not going to bore everybody with
the
watching you
the little details.
put the glue on her head.
Because she has had.
But we'll show you guys
smeared glue
as soon as the glue is all put on. There she is.
Okay.
All her glue with her one little spot. And
so
now she's going to get her hair back on her head, and I bet she's going to feel a lot better.
Yes. So we'll come back when her hair's on.
Okay. Well, we finally made it to ironing her hair and getting it set. So really quick, I know we've said this several times for the people who have watched our videos before, but this is a digital curling iron. And this is what we use to heal the fiber on the Saran wig. Now, this is a very small ceramic curling iron. And if you notice, the temperature gauge says 160. Do not ever go above 160. Now, this is 160 Celsius, not 160 Fahrenheit. I believe it's 320 Fahrenheit if that's the kind of curling iron that you get. And I will leave it right about here, right there. And that is what you go by for the temperature. So on her hair, it's going to be very, 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 very wet. You do never want to iron any of these synthetic fibers when they are dry.
Okay, this is all dry because we had so much work we had to do on this wig that when I glued it on, I had to wait for the glue to dry before I could set it. So I'm using a spray bottle.
Getting it very, very, very wet.
And getting it very... Now you see that you still see curl because that's the memory from when they used a hotter heat than we are thinking of using.
Right.
To get this. See how curly this is.
Okay, let's show them.
So what I'm going to do is I've taken a section. I've already done 2. And I take a section and I comb it with a very fine comb. Whatever, you'll see little stray hairs. You just trim those. You're not really cutting off length. On this style, you're not really cutting off length. Sometimes it's a must on others. It all depends on how damaged the ends are. She's out of the box, but
very, very, very wet.
But just because she was in the box didn't mean her threads rotted while they were in the box. And of course, nobody.
She's beautiful. She's pristine, but
yes,
this is what happens when you have fabrics or threads that are 70 plus old.
Right, and
years old.
Now you can see what it's doing to the fibers. Now I'm keeping it about like that.
Right.
I'm not keeping it flat. You do that any length of time and you're going to wish you didn't.
Right. You're going to burn it.
You got to keep your thumb on it. You got to keep it open a little bit to slide it down.
Okay.
So then I'll go through because I want these fibers straight.
But show her that. Show them the next piece because we got to.
Well, I got to do this right. And it's not healed yet. I know we have a time limit. Sometimes I'll let it set at the ends because sometimes the ends are the worst. All right. Now this is the lanolin that we get at Walmart.
You can get it in the mother and baby section.
And so
I'll leave a link in the description.
I squeezed it out because it's really hard to squeeze out. Anyway, I squeezed it out. Rub it between my fingers.
So this is a new thing that we have been doing with the lanolin. And this time, instead of putting conditioner on her hair, because we're going to be using the lanolin.
I need the whole thing. Give me the whole thing.
I omitted
it. Why?
The softener.
It meant no sense to do both. Her hair isn't...
but that's a new thing you'll see.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you can't use softener on other ones. Every doll is an individual, and this doll did not need it. Look at her hair. You can go through some of our videos and see it, you know, wild and totally. So now I've flattened out those ends with the paper. I wet the paper. I want to catch those ends because this is the style that she had, and I'm going to roll.
Yeah, her hair is going to end up long, not short.
And if you see, I'm rolling up because I want those curls to be long.
Okay.
And there you go.
So I think that she is just going to get the rest of
So
her,
you can see that
her beauty parlor day.
This is the top, and this is the bottom.
There she is. All her curlers are in. And now all she has to do is dry. And you can see that they were put in a slightly different configuration. Evie, what do you think? Huh? What do you think? Not much? You don't think much? No?
Think it's time?
Do you think so? Evie, do you think it's time for us to go to her reveal? What do you think? Can you speak? Well, that was a good sneeze. Can you speak? Oh, Evie thinks it's time. Oh, look at that. Evie thinks it's time. I think we gotta go. Yes, she did. Okay, let's go. Well, it looks like she's ready for her trip to Wonderland.
Looks like she's in Wonderland.
Her dress turned out beautifully. She's completely original, everybody. And her hair, although it was a challenge, it turned out beautifully. And this that you see behind her is one of our new backgrounds. And it is actually one of my photographs.
Out of our picture window.
Yeah.
Although you were outside when you took it.
Well, yes. But we're going to be making some new backgrounds. And because I love photography, they are going to be some of my pictures. I think it turned out pretty good myself.
I do too.
It's a little tall, so I think we might make it a little.
Allow for the taller dolls. I mean, we don't always have small dolls, and the taller dolls don't fit. Well, they'll fit now.
But you know what, guys? We have a treat for you.
We do?
We do. Well, I think that maybe she made it to Wonderland.
Looks that way.
Well, at least our little bitty version of it. This little guy right here, I've had him forever. He is a Madame Alexander white rabbit.
He sure is.
I couldn't help myself. I just thought he was adorable. And
he's been in a couple of our scenes.
Yeah,
our Easter scene from a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, but we didn't use the Queen of Hearts.
Oh no, he was just
a rabbit.
He was the bunny rabbit, the Easter rabbit.
But oh, look, everybody, she has got the clock.
Yeah.
So I guess she knows what time it is. Well, I think Evie likes Wonderland too. What do you think, Evie? I know there's a white rabbit, but still.
She's not chasing the rabbit.
Oh. Yes. She's got to stretch and say, oh, now she's going to say hi to everybody. Very good, Evie. Very good. So what we wanted to say to everybody is actually this is kind of a special, more special video because it's kind of our anniversary. We started on YouTube 2 years ago.
This month.
In June. And if you go to the channel and you look at our banner is new. And if you noticed, I don't know if you did or not, but if you noticed at the beginning of this video, there was, I changed all of the pictures of our intro. Those are all dolls that we have restored. Yeah, it's kind of just, something you might be interested in. And I don't know what's coming up next week or if it'll just be a short.
We have no idea.
It all depends on how we're feeling, but
live
we
one day at a
love
time.
hearing from everybody. Your comments
Yes.
mean so much to us. It does take us a little bit of time sometimes to get to all of them, but we just love hearing from you, and we hope you enjoyed this video. If it's your first video and you'd like to subscribe, that would be wonderful. If you give us a like, that helps us. And I don't know, she was a really special girl, and I can't wait to send her back to her owner.
She was. Challenge.
But she's
But
gorgeous.
we like challenges, don't we?
We do. We love challenges. So, honey.
What?
I think I'm going to say it this week.
Oh, good. That's good.
Because
I'll sit back. Oh,
it was really...
Evie and I are having a moment.
Because this week, I think I had to think this way even more than you did.
Absolutely.
My problem
was holding the camera.
Just remember, it is possible to do it yourself. Even when it seems like things go wrong, they can all turn out beautifully.
Just patience.
Yes, patience and time. And these little girls are worth it.
To me, absolutely.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.